Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness! You were my brother, Anakin!
Hi there. It's just me, Matt, coming to you. A little different than normal. We've been having a little trouble getting all together and recording stuff, so I figured I would come here and I would share a little bit about my struggles, which is what this whole thing was about in the first place. And so I felt like maybe doing an episode about the darkness would be appropriate. So here it is. Cue the intro.
Wait, do you ever get disappointed when you're showing someone something for the first time and you really want them to get it? And
No,
they
not
don't?
at all. I think
Yes.
Oh.
Matt knew exactly where I was
Absolutely.
going with that question.
I'm clearly an Eeyore.
I'm probably Rue.
I'm a Christopher Robin with a Pooh Rising.
And then I get in a canoe and I'm like, Clairs don't like canoes.
No, they don't.
I'm afraid of this lake.
That's exactly what it was.
Ow.
It was a beautiful moment in our friendship. I was
literally in the middle of getting ready up and down the
Pathetic.
stairs. Ow. I was like, I'm trying to get my hair done. I'm like,
I don't think that's an accurate representation of my owl.
well, you were in such pain you couldn't see clearly. So,
Trauma.
Thank you for listening to the Last Will podcast. I'm Matt Young. I'm a theater educator and a parent. And ever since I lost my father to cancer, I have been mildly obsessed with death. This is my last will and testament. Aristotle once said, "It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light." As I said before, today's episode is going to be all about the darkness. The date is February 18th or something like that. February 18th, I believe. February is a tough month for me. Sometimes because my birthday is in this month and I have struggled with gift giving and receiving gifts. And certainly since I got divorced about 6-7 years ago, it's hard to remember exactly. You know, my birthday has not been a priority and I've just had to eat that and accept it. And that's okay. You know, I'm an adult. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't affect the way I feel. Because it does. You know, to me, gift giving is a huge part of my love language. That and physical touch. But like the idea of gift giving is about feeling seen and being seen, which this whole podcast is all about. And so when it goes by and I don't feel seen, it hurts on a level that is put deep inside me. The ache, which is one of the toughest things. Certainly when I was dealing with grief a lot, I went and got a lot of tattoos because that ache was like untangible, and tattooing puts like a grounding pain into your body. And so it is a therapy in a lot of ways. Healthy, I hope so. Healthier than cutting and stuff like that. So my whole purpose today is to talk about the darkness that's in me right now, the thing that I have been struggling with recently. And, you know, I thought that maybe I would get out here and share a little bit about that. I am in therapy. I've been in therapy for a while, and I'm certainly on medication and stuff like that. So my spiraling doesn't go beneath the surface, but I have been sitting with a good hollowness inside me for a while. due to many factors, but like February is a rough one, and it's so sad too because our friend Claire has been working so hard to like put together a birthday party for me, and she has been thinking about it and giving it her all and organizing, and it's going to be a beautiful thing, and yet I have all of this sadness and hollowness and ache inside me at the moment, and sometimes I just can't get past it. And loneliness, I mean, a lot of just like real loneliness. So sometimes what I do is, I just try to find inspiration wherever I can. And so I thought maybe I would get out here a little bit and see if I could share some of the things that I've found as inspiration. Or, sometimes when you're sad, a sad song, getting sadder is cathartic. So sometimes I do that. And so I would just look at some of the things that I've saved on my TikTok and stuff like that and play it for you. We could talk through it. And here's one that I love, but I struggle with because in the end, it says we're not alone, and yet I feel so very alone. But take a listen.
I promise you, there is something worse out there than being sad, and that is being alone and being sad. Ain't nobody in this room alone.
For a lot of poetry and stuff like that. And one of these things that I found is like these poetry things on TikTok, I guess. And this one says, "She's so beautiful." And then a skeleton over her shoulder says, "It's so common to say that. So say this instead." And this is what he says: "I have late night conversations with the moon. He tells me about the sun, and I tell him about you." S.L. Gray wrote that. "I have late conversations with the moon. He tells me about the sun, and I tell him about you." I love the romance in that. I feel that way too. I mean, I'm such a huge fan of the moon. I often call me crazy, but I do talk to the moon. So I have done this for sure. Here's another one. "If I had a flower for every time I thought of you, I could walk in my garden forever." That's Alfred Lord Tennyson. Sometimes people's poetry, their words, they just make me feel better when I know that kind of poetry is out there in the world, even if it helps with my ache or my hurt, which is there. Here's one. In English, we say, "I'm yours." This one I like. In English, we say, "I'm yours." And in poetry, in English, we say, "I'm yours." But in poetry, we say, "If love meant surrender, I'd lay down my soul without fear, letting every piece of me fall softly into your hands." I am well aware of the love that I feel, or the love that I have gained from my kids, who I do this for, and my friends and my family. But sometimes without a partner, that loneliness is harder. And so, poems like this remind me of what that great and awesome love can be and is. look, I'm doing this right now, and I don't know if it will be worth airing. I don't know if it would be worth sharing. I am on a ramble. You know, a lot of people write in their journals, and I thought maybe I would just come on here and do what I love to do, which is the podcast. And you know, I love Claire and I love Grady, and I have been sick off and on, and their schedules have been busy, and so I don't know how the podcast is going to continue in a lot of ways. I mean, I hope it does, but I can't. I need to continue to do it all the time, and so maybe we're going to be hearing from different guests and stuff like that. Maybe from time to time you're just going to hear me alone by myself, and I don't know if it'll make sense or not, but I'm here now, and instead of journaling, I'm just doing this thing that I love, which is talking to you and hopefully letting people know that who are going through hurt or the darkness or whatever it is, that they're not alone, and that I know how difficult it can be, and how feeling unseen and unlovable and not worthy of attention and care can be overwhelming at times. And I'm here to tell you that I understand that, and I feel that, and I experience that, and you're not alone. And I'm just going to share some things with you that help either get me through or make me sadder, or just how I deal. I'm an incredibly imperfect person, you know. I'm going to be 51 years old, and I thought things would be very, very different in my life. You know, I was walking out of therapy today thinking, God, is this, I feel so unlike an adult, and I'm going to be 51. How is that even possible? Not that I'm 51, but that I don't feel like an adult. I do some adult things, but I still feel like a child. And when my emotions overwhelm me, God, I don't know what to do sometimes. And so I know that's not unfamiliar to people out there, people who struggle. So, yeah, I'm here. Let me share something else with you.
She's the girl you never saw coming. The unexpected one who calms you, centers you. And still, she turns out to be the surprise love of your life. She gets you, really gets you like no one ever has. She is your best friend, lover, and soulmate, all wrapped up in the prettiest package. She is unforgettable. She is like no one, which is why you are addicted to her, her mind, her soul. You can't get her out of your system. You taste her, and she runs through you hot like blood and fire. She never leaves you no matter what, because she too knows how rare the connection is. You have never had anyone stick by you like that before. She is the safest place you have ever known. You are soft for her, no matter how hard life gets. She is there, and your feelings never change. She loves you fiercely, and you feel her love deep in your bones, in your soul. She is the one who makes you feel whole in a W you never have before, and that terrifies you. But what terrifies you even more is losing her. She's the girl you never saw.
Yeah, so I often listen to things like that because I'm such a huge fan of love and feel like I have such a capacity for love, and I like me when I'm enjoying romance, enjoying the idea of romanticism. I think my closest friends, we have romance, not like sexual romance, but like there's a romanticism to us. And It's like our love of the moon and talking to the moon and the moon's great power. And so, yeah. I mean, I think part of my sadness too is at this time a year ago, I had been in an on and off situationship, I think is probably the best thing that you'd call it, for a while. And I was constantly being abandoned and then drawn in. And I made myself available for that type of bad behavior, but I was constantly back and forth, and there's an abuse to that, and I never really reconciled with it because I just wanted to be loved. I just wanted to feel someone drawn to me, attracted to me, someone who wanted me, because it was never love. I mean, certainly not from her. And then about this time last year, she sent me a text through Instagram. I mean, we had like not been together in the fall, and then around Christmas we had gotten back together, and then just a week or two before, she was like, "I really, really miss you." And then I got this text saying, "I can never find peace. I will never find peace if I continue to give you scraps of emotion." And yeah. So it was pretty like devastating just to hear that language. Look, it was a good thing for me. That kind of continued abandonment goes right into my issues of abandonment, and obviously you get the love that you think you deserve. And that was the thing that I thought I deserved the most, was this kind of non-committal, abusive relationship. And so it ended for good, really. I saw her a couple times since then, but just outside of things. And at one time it was nasty, but like whatever, I've moved on, but like it's a year since then. So I've really, really been dealing with whatever the ramifications of that are. Look, everybody's traumas are different, and I'm not saying that my trauma is any harder to deal with than anybody else's, because it's not. It's so not. And oftentimes we have to reconcile with just what our traumas are, and stuff. And I know that you probably all heard me talk about a new connection and stuff like that, and that means a lot to me. But in the moment right now, it's just a bit on pause and stuff. So I don't want to get too much into that. But there was another thing that I saw here that I heard, and this was, really devastating and enlightening at the same time. So here, I'm going to play it for you.
This quote hit me hard, and it goes like this. People don't abandon people they love. They abandon people they were using. Listen to that again. This quote.
So people don't abandon people they love. They abandon people that they were using. And I think I was definitely dealing with that for a long time. And, I have culpability in that too, because I wanted to feel, something. I wanted to feel desired and attractive, and not alone. And so I would put up with things that probably I normally wouldn't put up with, because of that. So, yeah, that one hit me pretty hard. So when I think about that relationship, yeah, that's what goes through my head. Here's some more. Okay, I think this is a read. It says, "Why are you crying? It's just a poem." And here's the poem. "I knew I liked you when you made me nervous and my heart would beat faster when I saw you. I knew I loved you when I felt calmer with you than without you. You know, simple stuff. Here's another one. I love everything about you more than I probably should, but how could I not love every part of that soul? How could I not love you when you are all I've ever wanted? So again, when I'm sad, the idea of romance, of romantical things, makes me feel better. Really makes you feel better. Okay. This is another thing. Just like sometimes I come across questions, and this one says, if you could apologize to your younger self, what would you tell them? God, I read that and I was like, I can't answer that right now. I don't know. But what would I apologize to my younger self about? About being abusive to him. Like, why would I let my inner voice, my judge, be so cruel? Why would I let him believe that voice had anything but ill intentions? I think that's what I'd have to apologize about. Because it's like a lifetime of working through that stuff. It's a lifetime of not giving that voice the weight that I give it. Because I wouldn't talk to my friends that way. I wouldn't let anybody talk to the people that I love that way. And when they ask for advice and they get emotional about things that they're doing, I think I'm really good at being able to redirect and let them know that voice and that their effort and their souls are beautiful things, and that they shouldn't be nothing to be ashamed of. And yet I let shame dictate how I feel all the time. I cannot figure out how to get by myself without any of that shame. That's what I would have to apologize for. I'd apologize for the shame, for letting the shame be a paralyzing thing in my life when it has no right to be. That I am worthy of love and attention and care. I don't know where all that came from. I don't know where all that fucking came from. I grew up in a house where I saw my parents in love. You know, my sister and I were taken care of really well. We didn't really want for much. We went on vacations. There was love, there was joy, and yet I've always had this thing inside me, this ability to tell myself that I have zero value in the world. And I know that that's not true. I've been teaching too long. I still have contact with students about experiences that we had together. I know that I've had an impact on people, and yet that doesn't seem to be as loud a voice as this other thing. And I don't know why, and I don't know where it came from. And I've always felt abandoned. Even before I felt abandoned after my father died, I've always kind of had that feeling in me. I mean, we did a whole episode on friendships and stuff like that. Maybe I'm not a very good friend because all my friends are new. And I think about my old friends. I just wished an old friend happy birthday recently. And she was like my best friend. And yet we just talk on Instagram maybe once a year. I don't know why I wasn't good enough as a friend to keep. But there was something in me that prevented these friendships from continuing to go. My best friend, Haven't really spoken to a lot, probably 30 years since he moved away. Didn't live far enough away for me to not contact him, and every once in a while we'll write and he'll send love to my mom, and I don't know. I mean, it's things like that I think that continue to haunt me a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know where it came from, but I do often deal with romantic thingers, romantic things and stuff. All right. A lot of these have music. I'll just put the music. This is 7 Pillars of Mindfulness, right? Oh, jeez. I can't do any of this. Non-judging. Being an unbiased observer of your own experience. Recognizing the ongoing judgment and reaction to inner and outer experience. Patience. Patience is a sign of wisdom because it shows that we recognize that things happen in their own time. Patience is one that I need in truckloads at the moment. Beginner's mind. We can open to new possibilities if we keep an open mind and avoid getting weighed down by our experience. We can be open to new possibilities if we keep an open mind and avoid getting weighed down by our own experience. God, I mean, I had to read that twice in order to get how fucking relevant it was to me and my daily existence. Jesus fuck. I will use things as evidence of a narrative that I've built in my mind forever. And that's exactly what this is saying, you know? I can experience new possibilities if I don't fucking get bogged down in everything, in the landscape of my life, imagining that's holding me down, my past experiences. And again, I would say it to my friends, like you can't let what happens in your past dictate how you deal with the future. But like I fucking do it all the time. I couldn't understand what that said until I read it fucking twice. We can be open to new possibilities if we keep an open mind and avoid getting weighed down by our experience. I have to figure out how to not be weighed down by my experience. That's not how experience works. That's not how it serves us. So why do I fucking do it? Trust. Good luck. Build a foundational trust with yourself and your emotions. Recognize that it's acceptable to make mistakes. I mean, I think I accept my mistakes, at least creatively, but a fundamental or a foundational trust with yourself and your emotions, I got a lot of work to do. Non-striving. The objective is to be with yourself right now, in this moment. Pay attention to what happens rather than trying to change anything. God. I mean, the thought is always about changing everything, but it's also about not sitting with myself now. It's either futuring myself or sending myself to the past. Acceptance. Oh, good grief. Acceptance. Look at things objectively. Ugh. This prepares you to respond appropriately to everything that happens in your life. Acceptance. Look at things objectively. This prepares you to respond appropriately to everything that happens in your life. This makes sense. Letting go. The mind wants to hold on to ideas, feelings, and situations when we pay attention to our inner experience. Leave your experience as it is at this moment. God, there's so much about what all of this 7 mindful things are. About experience and letting my past, the experience of my past, not guide me in a healthy way, but be like the biggest unhealthy meal I eat on a daily basis. Letting go. The mind wants to hold on to ideas, feelings, and situations when we pay attention to our inner experience. Leave your experience as it is. Leave your experience as it is at this moment. It's these ideas and feelings and situations that I let just take over. I knew that would be important, but I don't think when I read it my first time, I really understood it the way that I understood it now. See what else we got. I like this. I'm going to fuck the French up, so I apologize. In French, you don't say, I miss you. You say, tu me manques, which means you are missing from me. I love that. You are missing from me. Not I miss you, you are missing from me. It's so interesting that a little turn of phrase can make all the difference in terms of how we experience things or how we take things in. What else can we say? What else is there? Here's another of these little poems. It says, why are you crying? It's just a poem, though. It took so long to find you, but you were worth the wait. You were worth every tear of loneliness. You were worth all the pain. It wasn't easy finding you, but I wouldn't change the journey because it led me to you. On a different journey, I might not have found you at all. That one resonates a lot with me at the moment. It took so long to find you, but you were worth the wait. You were worth every tear of loneliness. You were worth all the pain. It wasn't easy finding you, but I wouldn't change the journey because it led me to you. On a different journey, I might not have found you at all. Yeah. Whew. And that's where my patience needs to take over for a little bit these days. Sorry, I just got to get this big music on some of these things. This is one I saw today that is a good reminder to myself when the darkness is surrounding me. You're worth having around. You're worth committing to. You're worth appreciating. You're worth loving. You're worth reassuring. You're worth risking it all for. You're worth everything. It's hard for me to believe that. I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm relatively a kind person, and yet these are things that I just struggle with, for sure. You're worth having around. You're worth committing to. You're worth appreciating. You're worth loving. You're worth reassuring. You're worth risking it all for. You're worth everything. I don't know that I ever really believed in daily affirmations up until this point. I mean, I think I got them in my life in some way or another, and I just didn't give them the weight that they really truly deserved. And yet I can see how important and powerful they are for me at this moment. Here's another one. 10 places you should stay silent at all costs. 1. Be silent if you don't know the full story. I mean, that's pretty good. It's not really what we're talking about, though, is it? 2. Be silent if you feel unable to control your emotions. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know that this is for us right now. All right. It always hits us with some stupid music. It says, I will always love you. And the skeleton says, that's too simple. The skeleton, who is a great poet in these things, the skeleton says, say this. Always remember, my heart holds you when my arms cannot. You know? There's a simplicity to that. There's an absolute simplicity to that. There was another...
Keep going.
All right. Every challenge holds a hidden lesson, waiting to transform pain into wisdom. I'm fucking open to that bullshit. The struggle you face today is the foundation for tomorrow's resilience. Each trial molds you into someone stronger. Embrace your scars as your badges of honor. They're the proof that you've survived and continue to thrive. And it all makes sense. It's hard, though. It's hard when the ache takes over. I don't know how to transform that pain into something. Okay. Some gentle reminders. I'm sorry for all the music. It just like pops out when I put these things on. Here's some gentle reminders you needed to see today. All right. Don't you ever fucking apologize for being yourself. You've come too far to settle for anything less than what you want. Your worth is not determined by anyone else's opinion. You don't need to be productive all the time. Some days, it's good enough to simply exist. God, I gotta remind myself of that. The person you are becoming is more important than the person that you have been. The person you are becoming is more important than the person you have been. I have to figure out how to accept that idea. I sit in the person that I was and not in who I become. And it's not like I'm unavailable for change and growth, because I think I'm very available for it. But the person you're becoming is more important than the person you've been. Nothing is worth staying if you are not happy. Remember, you can start again over and over as often as you need. That's a tough one. You put so much effort into something and starting over feels so daunting. It's from a book called Learning to Love Thyself. No, Learning to Love Myself. I went even more poetic. Thyself. Well, I think I've spoken for a while. I don't know if this is interesting to anybody or not. I'll play you one more thing. Did I play this one already?
If love is a choice.
Okay. Let's give this one. This will be the last one, okay? And I really appreciate anybody who's made it to the end of this. It was pretty therapeutic for me, so I appreciate it.
Then I choose you every day.
All right, let's start that again.
If love is a choice, then I choose you every day, no matter how many lifetimes we live. It's not just the beautiful moments that make this love real. It's the hard ones too. It's the times we hold each other, when words aren't enough, when silence speaks louder than anything we could say, and when your hand in mine says, I'm here more than any promise could. In a world of endless possibilities, I would choose you 1,000 times. With you, love isn't about perfection. It's about the quiet certainty that no matter what, you're the one I want by my side, even when the days are long and dreams feel far away. I feel this choice in every sunrise, every heartbeat, every breath, and even if life offered me every love in the world, I'd find my way back to you. 'Cause love, to me, isn't just a feeling. It's the choice I make to be with you today, tomorrow, and fall all comes next. If love is a choice, then I choose you every day.
So there we go. That stuff fills my heart. I don't know why. Maybe it's like a sad song or cathartic if love isn't in my life, but I really like it. So on that note, thank you so much for your time and patience. If you've been listening to this, I had a friend from college who I speak to every once in a while, and a few times about this podcast. She was in a terrible, terrible car accident, and there was a GoFundMe for her, and I think it just closed, and I was going to put the GoFundMe information here, and if it's still available, I'm going to put it on the poster, but I just want to say, Chrissy, get better. Get better. I'll be holding you in the light, and if anybody listening wants to say a prayer, if that's what you do, wants to hold somebody in the light, a really good person, a person that makes people's lives so much better, say a little prayer, hold them in the light. The world's a better place with her in it, so I hope she gets better hope she gets better soon. Again, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to the Last Will podcast on a very special episode. I think we would call this one a very special episode. If you like what you heard, rate, review, and subscribe. And until next time, the podcast may be shifting and changing. I don't know. I hope it will feel familiar and maybe fresh and new as well, with some new voices and some old voices and all of that. So again, if you like what you heard, rate, review, and subscribe. Send us a note. And until next time, onward, forward.